Right. Hello, everyone. This is 1st of July 2024, and it's a Project Green Scraper meeting. My name is Kristina Devochko, and I will be hosting this meeting today. We had some um, issues with our common calendar where some meetings suddenly disappeared for some reason, so we had a bit of a longer break in the meetings for this project. But I think since we are quite few that are currently contributing to it. It has been a little bit hectic for most of us towards the common summer vacation. So from what I understood, we haven't had like a very big progress since our last meeting, but I think that it's good that we can now take a little bit of a sync and see if we can focus on specific tasks in the coming weeks. Maybe it will hopefully also slow down a little bit for some of us. So I know that Claire also wanted to join us today for the first time, I guess. So welcome, Claire. I don't know.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, I guess I'm not new to the tag, obviously, as the chair of the Commons Working Group, but
Mm.
I know that the Green Scraper project doesn't necessarily have a bunch of people, and I have some experience with scripting, so I thought I would see if I can lend a hand.
That's nice. That's really great that you could join, Claire. Yeah, we are very few. Valeria was also with us for some meetings, but but then she was away. So we will see. Maybe she will rejoin as well at some point. But the project in itself is like, it's not very big, but we still have a bunch of improvements that we can do both to the Green Scraper tool and also to how we want it to look like, the event list that the tool will generate for us, how we want it to be represented at the TAG ENV website. So there are some tasks that we have remaining, or like not remaining, that we can work on. And I think we have one in terms of figuring out what information we want to have on the events page. That one Valeria was very interested in helping us with. We also asked in Slack at some point to get some input. I don't think we had any objections or anything to the suggested layouts. But basically, the way we wanted it to look like is that we wanted to have some kind of a table of content on that markdown file where we would represent the different events and sessions so that people can easily switch between the events that they're most interested in, and that the entries that will be shown would basically provide information from the tool, which will include like the name of the speaker, the name of the event, the title, abstract, and the link to that event. So if you, for example, Claire, would be interested also in checking that out and share like any feedback or any other ideas that obviously may be missing from the suggestion, it would be great. Maybe we could also share it through the comms working group
Mm-hmm.
as well to encourage more people to get some feedback, because that will be helpful once we start
Mm-hmm.
integrating it into the website.
I think that sounds like a really good start as well. I think I added some feedback on a ticket somewhere where this is probably relevant. I think it was
Yeah,
just
we
the general
included that.
tracking one, right? Yeah. So all
Yeah,
of the
we
different things,
included that. Yeah.
like using it for the upcoming North America conference, we can probably figure out. Like that's good testing. So
Mm,
for comms
yeah,
anyway.
yeah, that can be interesting. Maybe we can try to have some very simple layout to begin with, and maybe try to target it for the KubeCon and Cloud Native Con NA in November.
Yeah.
I think that can be reasonable. I think like the Green Scraper tool is working. It's functional, so it gathers much of the data. Of course, there is some additional data we could add to it, but it can be a good start. And getting a simple page integrated is probably doable before November. So we could totally target that. Um, then Right, that one I think, Al Hussein, you mentioned, I think I saw a comment. I haven't followed it up yet, but I think you did this change already, right, in the workflow for Greenscraper to not push the changes directly to master, but create a pull request.
That's correct. There's a PR with the link in the discussion.
Right. Okay, so it's yeah, I could probably take a quick look, but I'm sure it's okay. No, but that's perfect. Then I can probably follow it up after. Then that sounds like we have that one more or less done. I need to confess that I didn't have time to fully to play around with it yet. With the item that I have to integrate actually the workflow for Greenscraper project into the TAG ENV repo. It will get calmer for me during July, so I will actually get some time to do this. So maybe I'll have a bit of a broader update for this item for the next meeting, but I haven't forgotten about it. I just need to get a little bit more time to actually play around with it. So I will keep looking on that as an action point for the next meeting. And then we have also created an item to figure out if this project actually needs some testing. And on that one, I think we will need to get back to Nandish because we had Nandish from Green Software Foundation who joined us for some meetings, and he asked or challenged us to look into if there is a scope to test this implementation. And I think last time me and Al Hussein discussed this, I think it was like, it seems like the scope of the project is very small to actually see what should be tested. Like we could easily see that in the pull request, when the workflow runs, we could see how the changes look like. So it will be reviewed and merged in a controlled manner. So I think we haven't till now found like a use case for testing yet. So we just need to get back with that feedback to Nandish and see if he had something else in mind in terms of testing. All right, and then we have a few items that also are open for contributors. Like I guess the Greenscraper tool is donated to the tag. So I guess if anyone would like to contribute to it, that would be great and would be appreciated. So we have a few other items in the kind of needs contributors list. I think the first one was about having a logic in the tool so that it does not, or like exploring if it would make sense and if it would be possible when we run this Greenscraper tool that it does not recreate the file from the ground up, but only adds non-existing entries to the final event list, if that would be feasible and if that would be possible. So this is like an item that can be used for investigation and exploration, but it's not like critical for the first version of the workflow. The
I
other,
have a
yeah,
question about that.
yeah,
So
yeah.
is the scraper a bash script currently taking it in and then outputting a file, or is it generating a file from scratch?
It generates the file
Yeah.
from scratch based on
Okay.
the output of the bash script.
Okay, cool.
So let's see if I have this link here. So this is like the example. Yeah, you mentioned you used that, right, Claire? Oh, that
Yeah.
was probably the other Greenscraper tool from William you have used, because we
Yeah,
have two.
yeah, yeah.
But this one is the GreenTalks scraper. Shall we see? I need to find the correct. I think it's also under the green tooling repo, right, Alison? Yeah. Let's see why I don't
It's
have it
the
here.
same repository as the other two.
Let's see. Green tooling. Yeah, obviously, I don't remember the link.
I think it's.
Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, there you go. Green. Yes, there. TAG ENV tooling. Green Talk Scraper. The other project is called. So I guess they serve a similar purpose, but since we have also Al Hussein donating this to the tag and also joining as the project lead here, it's kind of was made sense to just continue developing this tool further.
Yeah.
So that's why we're focusing on that right now. And that's like how this list looks like right now. So obviously we would need some kind of table of contents or some easy way to navigate between the different talks and maybe have some kind of headings and something to separate the different events visually.
So we're outputting it to this MD file, basically.
Yeah, so we could
sense.
provide, I think, like in the workflow, we could probably provide a path to where it would output this content that it generates.
I like that the second top talk is you.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, Hussein? Yeah, yeah, that's true. Was it intended or was it totally random? Yeah, but at least the way it works now, from if I'm correct, then it basically just generates it every time you run it, the whole list. So maybe if it generates it in the same order, you wouldn't see like a lot of changes on the PR. But if it fully rewrites the order, then maybe it will be quite a lot to review at the same time. I'm not sure if you tested that now, Hussein, actually, if like how the PR looks like. Does it basically add things in the same order, or?
It basically adds, so like the newest or the URL that is in the top of the file, that will become like first, as you can see, this is the newest time, that's 2023. And if I add another URL, it should be on top of this.
Okay.
So but does it touch this ones?
Sorry,
oh yeah, Claire, sorry.
No, that's fine. Your question makes sense.
Yeah, I was just wondering, does it touch then if it adds 2024 on top, will it also touch the below entries on rerun?
As of now, it redoes, so it does everything from scratch again, like it has never run before. But as you see that there's a task in the board is to avoid that. So if we see that this is 2023, I think it's North America, we should not repeat this and start maybe from KubeCon 2024, maybe.
Yeah. Then this is something to explore if we could do. It would probably make a scope to review in the PR a bit smaller.
It's also more sustainable not to repeat the same code again.
Of course, that's a great point. That's very much in scope of the tag, so we should definitely investigate that. Then the other item I think is based also on your feedback, Claire, in terms of things that should be included into the tool output. So some of the things that we listed are at least conference name, the description of the session, direct link to the session, and if there is a recording, then have a link to that one as well. So this probably item can also be open for input.
This was basically just the things that like I had to do myself manually by looking them up once I'd been, given the things. But actually the additional feedback I had was it kept picking up, and maybe this has changed, I haven't used it since, but the energy companies where their talk was actually not about anything related. It was just that the person was like part of Octopus Energy Company or something. But they'd be talking about security. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know how that was happening, but it happened twice, I think, where the company was called just X energy company. And I think most energy companies usually don't have the word energy in their name, but one of them does. So
Yeah, that
Okay.
happens because of the keywords used. So one of them is energy, so that just picks the word when it finds it. Unfortunately, I haven't found a way to exclude
yeah.
that.
We petitioned the companies to change their names.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah, that
No,
makes
but that
sense.
does it do the same the green scraper tool? Oh, you're saying does it also filter on like or look for the word energy in the company title and all that?
I'm not sure, but I think they follow the same kind of logic, is to
Okay.
look for keywords. And in this the one I worked on, the bash script, I also have the keywords to exclude. It's mainly for the variants of green and if it can be a name. So
Hmm.
so I think that could be the top of the scraper.sh file. We can see what keywords are being used.
Shall we see? Is the specific words keywords? It doesn't look like energy is a part of this.
So
Hmm.
no, it's actually part of the keywords,
Yeah,
and
it's
that's
the
why
third one.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
and then specific words, these are kind of other variants of green that we should exclude if they appear only once in the title, because someone could be named green leaf, but they also talk about sustainability. So why should we exclude it? So only if it appears once, exclude that topic.
Okay. That makes sense. Then, but we can maybe see like how the output, because you haven't tried this project yet, Claire, so we can maybe test it for the upcoming NA event and see what kind of output we get once the agenda is released.
Yep.
So then we'll see, maybe we could have some additional logic to process the output further once it's scraped. Some smartness there. We can definitely take a look at it, but probably not critical like for the very first output. I would guess then adding information like session description and session link would be more important so that you don't do it manually.
Yeah, and doing that would have solved the issue I had anyway quicker, because part of what was happening is I was looking for the information, then copy and pasting it, and then realizing when I'd done that effort already that the title was like, yeah, I gave it the benefit of the doubt title wise, and then I'd read the description, and actually it was kind of more obviously not about sustainability. So if we already get those outputs and we don't have time to fix picking up energy companies, I can already just remove them because it will be obvious.
Yeah. Maybe let's Claire, do you mind adding that as a comment with the energy company? Or
Yeah,
with this
sure.
issue
On this
experience,
one?
that would be, yeah, let me
Yeah,
send you a link.
416. Sure.
That would be nice. So that we also include it as the item to on this list. Thanks. All right. And then I think one more that is remaining is basically the markdown, the formatting, like the formatting of the markdown file that we will add this event list to. So how shall we do it in a good manner? Like if we should have a markdown file that acts like a blueprint that has all these proper headers with placeholders and has a table of content with some placeholders that we replace when we add the content of the tool, or like if this maybe this structuring should be handled by the tool itself when it saves the data to a markdown file. So this is also like an exploration item that we would need to figure out, so that we because if the tool currently just provides a list without any specific markdown formatting and it creates a PR, it basically would rewrite any formatting that we would add to the markdown file that will be populated on the website. So we should figure out a way how could we preserve the proper formatting that could help visualize this list better and avoid it being overwritten, if it should be done on the tool side or if we should have some kind of smartness as part of the workflow execution. So this is something also that is open for investigation. Yeah, and I think that was basically all the issues we have currently open. So I guess for the next time, I have at least something to look into in terms of just starting with integrating the workflow we have right now for the Green Scraper tool into the tag repo. And then I guess any changes to the tool, probably if you have time, Al Hussein, at least this data that's being collected by the tool, if you will have time to look into that, that's a possibility. And then I guess if you are open, Claire, for any to look into any of that, just reach out to any one of us. We would we can help out.
Yeah, I'll have a look, a more detailed read of the 3 that are open and see if there's anything I can help with.
Yep, great. And then I'll also try to mention this project a little bit extra on the social media and in Slack, just to remind that if someone wants to contribute, it's just by sharing some feedback on the items or maybe even doing some changes that it's open. But it's a smaller project, so it's we see the challenge of finding enough contributors for the bigger projects like the Green Reviews Working Group, for example. So and this one is even with a smaller scope, so we kind of see the same challenge of getting more people involved. But it's just how it is. We'll just make some progress when we manage that. Yeah, I guess that's it. Is there anything you would like to bring up, anyone?
No, I think that pretty much sums up all the things.
But then that sounds like we have some action items till next time, have something to look on. Everything is on the project board. And then are you having any vacation during July, Al Hussein? I'm just thinking about, like, shall we just preserve the meeting during July?
Yes, I will be having
Do you think?
vacation later in July.
Okay, you will be. So shall we see? I think we have.
The next meeting will be 15th of July, I guess.
Yes, 15th and 29th. Should we keep both or?
29th I won't be available, but you're of
Okay.
course free to run the meeting if you're available.
I am also taking a vacation last week of July. So that may be challenging. Then we will keep the next meeting, and then I will probably cancel the 29th, and then we'll reconnect again in August. All right, I'll stop the recording.